Dear grade 8 chemistry students, Assalamu alaikum jami'an wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Continuing the second part of our lesson, the ionic compound. At the end of this video, we are able to list some physical properties of ionic compounds and to define electrolyte. Before watching the video, you should prepare the following: your chemistry worksheet and the pen, please. As a revision for the definition of the ionic compounds are neutral compounds made up of cations and anions which are attracted to each other due to their opposite charges. Examples about ionic compounds: CaCl2, Fe2O3, and NH4,2S. A question: what are the properties of ionic compounds? Anyone have an idea? Come in. Properties of ionic compounds. The first property is in an ionic compound, many units are grouped together to form a crystal, as you see here. Let us see the video to understand more. So these are many units that are grouped with each other to form a crystal. Ionic compounds are solid at room temperature, around 25 degrees Celsius. In the room temperature, the ionic compounds are solid and have high melting and boiling points. What else? The ionic compounds, when dissolved in water, most ionic compounds ionize. They make ionization. What is the meaning of ionization? It dissociates into ions. So each ion go alone, giving the constituting ions that had formed the ionic compound. To understand more, let us observe the video carefully, please.
Sodium chloride, sodium fluoride, and ammonium nitrate can all dissolve in water, as we know. Or else we wouldn't be able to flavor our soups, brush our teeth, or fertilize our plants. Most ionic compounds are soluble in water. In water, an ionic compound can dissociate into its ions. So when we dissolve sodium chloride, it will dissociate into sodium and chloride ions.
So as you see, the following video shows the dissociation of ionic compounds in water. What else? Ionic compound is made up of ions. Don't forget, it's made up of cation and anion that have opposite charges. A problem. Does the ionic compound conduct electricity when dissolved in water? Oh, a very interesting question. So who can predict a hypothesis to answer this problem? Hypothesis: the ionic compounds conduct electricity when dissolved in water. But can we say that this is a fact? To check up our hypothesis, we are going to make an experiment. Come in, guys. What do we need as materials? We need 2 identical beakers, connecting wires, 4 knobs, 2 lamps, 2 DC dry cells, salt, sugar, and distilled water. Let us start. As a procedure, step by step. Pour same quantity of water in both beakers. Add salt to beaker A and sugar to beaker B. Immerse in each beaker 2 knobs as indicated in the figure. So here I have the 2 beakers with 2 knobs each, and here I had the salt and ACl, and here I have added the sugar. What else? Connect the knobs in each beaker with 2 connecting wires, a DC battery, and a lamp, as you see in the figure. Observe the results. Let us start. Take a note. Salt in beaker A is an ionic compound, NaCl, as you see here in the figure. While sugar in beaker B is a molecular compound, not ionic compound, made up of a substance called sucrose, and this is the formula of this compound. So look here, we start adding salt to the water. What happened to the lamp? Oh, it is glowing. Let us remove the salt and now add the sugar. What happens if we add the sugar? Look carefully. Do the lamp glow? Does the lamp glow? No. So our salt is sodium chloride. As you see, when it becomes in water, it dissociates. While when adding the sucrose, which is our sugar, in the water, it does not dissociate. Here we say the molecular formula of the NaCl, the ions of the NaCl, how they dissociate, while the compound of sucrose, it does not dissociate. Observation. In beaker A, the lamp glows. As you see, the beaker that containing salt. While in beaker B, which is the beaker that containing water and sugar, the lamp remains off. It does not glow. Why? Who can explain, guys? Let us analyze the results and explain the details. In beaker A, upon dissolving salt with water, NaCl dissociates into ions, which are Na plus alone, as you see here, the positive charge, and the Cl minus, which are chloride ions alone. They become dissociated. The NaCl dissociate into Na plus and Cl minus. Here we have, after dissociation, opposite charges. The opposite charge in these ions conduct electricity, where in the presence of water and DC dry cell. What happens after generating an electrical current that causes the glowing of the lamp? So guys, these opposite charges conduct electricity in the presence of water and DC. This electricity will generate a current that causes the glowing of the lamp, as you see in the figure. What about beaker B? Upon mixing the sugar with water, it does not dissociate into ions. It remains as it is in the compound. So the sugar solution does not conduct electricity. That is why the lamp remains off. As a conclusion, what we can conclude from this experiment, we can conclude that the ionic compounds are conductible to electricity. They conduct the current when dissolved in water, so that they are said to be electrolyte. Very important characteristic and the properties of the ionic compound. They are electrolyte. Don't forget this word, guys. Molecular compounds do not conduct electricity, so they are not electrolyte. So, who can define an electrolyte? The definition of electrolyte is: an electrolyte is a substance that conducts electricity, where when dissolved in water, due to the dissociation of it into positive and negative ions. So let us list the physical properties of the ionic compound. They have crystal aspect due to their combined units. They have high boiling and melting points. They are solid at room temperature. And finally, they are conductible to electricity, so that they are said to be electrolyte. These physical properties, you are responsible to save and memorize them, guys. For the next time, read the information about the ionic compounds, page 21 and page 22. Solve the questions 1, 2, and 3, page 22, and study them, please. I hope that you have enjoyed a fantastic time in this lesson. تقبل الله أعمالكم. السلام عليكم جميعا ورحمة الله وبركاته.